Morning, everyone. Sebastian Castillo here, kicking off Monday with a new video, new shirt, tailored, make my arms look nice and jacked. And first thing I wanted to say with this video is there's nothing like being face to face with average people to remind yourself why you do what you do. What do I mean by that? As most of you know who've been watching this channel, and if you're new, welcome. I was struggling quite a bit for the last 2 years to make a decent income on the internet here in Mexico after moving away from Canada and just find some more sovereignty financially, right? And so this year I finally managed to do that. I've figured out some avenues. And I'll be teaching you very soon once I really rack up more receipts, although I could probably do it now. But I sacrificed a lot, right? Whereas a lot of guys my age, I'm 28, are still just fucking around and not taking their life at least kind of semi-seriously. I was working, right? I was putting my head down, staying home, going to the gym, going out to pick up girls here and there, but focused on the work, focused on uncovering how to get better sales jobs online, how to actually start your own business and coaching or whatever, how to get clients for copywriting, all this stuff, making money online, because then it frees you up so much, right? It allows you to leave an authoritarian dictatorship, a left-wing socialist shithole where most of the women are stuck up and they don't want anything to do with you, even if you're a solid dude. And I'm talking about Canada and probably the United States and other countries like this. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because just a couple of days ago, I was at the bus stop and I was out at the mall picking up chicks and I was waiting to go home. And then I was approached by a guy I'd met a couple of months back who lives in this neighborhood. And we had exchanged numbers because we kind of hit it off. But then I ended up figuring out that I actually didn't save his number properly. So I would have wanted to hang out with him, but obviously I didn't have the opportunity. I didn't know where he lived either within this complex. So we ran into each other again, and he was with a friend of his. And this is interesting. You're going to learn a lot from this video about just people and how you shouldn't be too trusting. Not that anything bad happened, but what's interesting about the situation is this other guy that I met, right? He was Mexican American, white Mexican American, so we kind of had a lot in common right off the bat there. And he was kind of a talker. He immediately started like going off on how, oh yeah, I'm an English teacher here, and oh yeah, I lived in Israel for 2 years. I come from a military family. We have a big house over in Illinois. I was in prison for a year. I got a DUI. I had a kid when I was like 18, but then the kid died in a car accident, and then my girl left me. All this crazy stuff. And he was saying things like how, oh yes, I've dedicated my life to God, even though he was smoking weed and drinking. Saying things like, oh yes, I'm all about calisthenics, even though he was skinny as a twig. He said, oh yeah, I've made a lot of money before doing like web development and stuff. And then as my suspicions were confirmed, I saw that the guy was broke as a joke. And I mean, like, broker than I've ever been. Like, he didn't even have a phone or a computer so he could get on the internet and try to make some money. He had nothing. Didn't even have his papers here in Mexico. He just came in on his American passport, like a lot of these other uninformed Mexican Americans do. So, again, going back to what I said earlier, when you get around average people and you see how they're doing, you compare yourself, often you should be giving, like, if you're watching this channel, give yourself a pat on the back, because this guy's my age and his life is in the fucking gutter. Like, no education, no prospects back home. Apparently his family just doesn't want anything to do with him because he's gotten in so much shit here in Mexico, getting in fights, going out to party, not taking his life seriously. And the guy he's staying with isn't much better. He's a Mexican guy, older too, like 36. Yeah, he's got a mortgage on this house. At least he's not renting. He's not so transient. But he's out of shape, doesn't know how to talk to women, and the guy's pretty broke as well. He's like, oh, I have been out of work for a little while, but I'm looking. I mean, at least this guy was trying to make an effort, right? But the other guy was just like, I don't even know, you know? And it just made me think, like, if you're in the States or Canada, it's a little different, because if people are broke, it's very much by choice. Like, anyone can go out and work. It's not going to be fun, but you can go out and you can make some money and keep a roof over your head, right? Over here, it is a little bit different in other third world countries. I can understand why people don't really want to work, because the pay is often really bullshit. But again, like, this guy is a Mexican American. He's an American citizen. He could just go back to Illinois. He could work construction or whatever the hell it is, and he could save up a ton after working for 3-4 months. That'd be enough to last him for probably a year, living out here and living nicely. But whatever. If you spend too much time around average people, it's gonna infect you. All right? And these events over the past weekend here really put that into perspective for me. Made me think, being solitary, being lonely oftentimes kind of sucks. And being able to talk to friends over the internet, over video chat, is nice, but it's no real substitute for having your friends, having your family there in person to connect with. But I would 100% take being lonely any day of the week over wasting my time with average people who are just not going to contribute to my life. And I don't want to sound like too pragmatic here or too money hungry, or like I don't care about the qualities of other people. I do. But it makes almost no fucking sense for you to be wasting your time with people who are just so below you. And I'm not saying you're better than them, but your decisions and your accomplishments show that you have more skill and a greater sense of responsibility and drive than most people do. And that is worth something. You shouldn't dilute that by spending time. Like, this is what I used to do, right? In high school, when I really felt like I didn't have options, I just hung out with people who I didn't really like, but it felt better than just sitting in my room alone, because I felt like, I should be getting out and meeting people. And I mean, what did people do? They smoked weed, they drank, went to restaurants, they didn't do anything, really. Excuse me. Now, before the video cuts out, because again, it tends to do that, the memory on this hard drive is just always super low. Just remember that, guys. Just remember that. No matter what you're going through right now, I mean, maybe you'll meet someone and you'll go out with them, have a drink or whatever, but I guarantee you will quickly realize that most people are just not worth your fucking time. They might be decent people. They might be nice. Again, not discounting their other qualities, but when it comes to the most important shit, right? If you really want to make some serious money, if you really seriously want to date the hottest women, if you want to have a great body and take your health seriously, if you want to have overall long-term happiness, right? If you're in your early 20s, mid-20s, late 20s like myself, and you really want to set yourself up for your 30s and 40s, now is the time, right? And put it this way. I mean, you have to think whenever you do something, is the future version of me going to regret this? If I drink a bottle of tequila today, is the me of tomorrow going to regret this when I'm hungover? If I spend every single weekend going out with a bunch of dorks and just drinking my face off or whatever, instead of either working or at least going out to pick up girls on my own, which am I going to regret more? Like, yesterday we went out to the beach, and I told this guy, like, I've communicated it extremely clearly, like, I want to go pick up chicks at the beach and the mall. And so as usual, as has happened in other cases, like we're walking around, I'm like, oh shit, she's hot. Let's go talk to her. He's like, oh no, no. I can't do this. There's no. It used to be where I was shy as well, and I didn't want to go out unless I was with other people. Then that would kind of give me that support. But now it's like I feel like I'm being slowed and weighed down by others, right? I would rather just go out on my own and approach these chicks alone, and then be able to just bounce from one to the other and gather more phone numbers. You know what I mean? But it's bullshit, man. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Don't let others drag you down, right? And usually that's applied when people are actively trying to sabotage you, but it goes for people who are kind of passive too. People, again, who are not serious enough about shit. Don't, the more you hang around average people, the greater the likelihood is that you're going to become one. So don't become one. Move to a better area if you have the means, if you can. Communicate with like-minded people on the internet, meet up in real life. Just get as far away as you can from the fucking average person, average dude, especially. Average, like, it's not even these two. Like, a lot of people out here are just fucking broke. They can't hold down a job. It's just like the most basic shit, but they're so fucking stupid, right? And I get it. There are other circumstances that play. Like, I know a guy who's 50, and he's broke. Imagine being broke and fat. Imagine that. It's fucking nightmare. Ridiculous. Like, I hung out with the guy a few times because, again, like, he's all right, and, you know, I could at least practice my Spanish with him. But overall, it's just like, fuck, man, I can't waste my time with people like this. I'm sorry. And I do want to preface this. I know, like, it might be a little hypocritical. Like, oh, Sebastian, you weren't doing that great earlier this year, and now you're saying that you don't want to hang around broke people. It's not quite like that, right? Because at least I was making the effort. I was working. I was not out, again, doing a bunch of stupid shit, not focused. I have been super focused, and it did finally yield some results for me this year. Very, very nice results. So, distinguish between people who are broke and who have no ambition and who aren't going fucking anywhere and who really are going to be like a waste of your time, and people who might not be doing that well right now, but obviously they have a solid plan that makes complete sense to you, and they are putting in the effort on a daily basis to make it work, right? So that's it for today, guys. I'll be making more videos soon. I just haven't been doing it lately because I've been focused. So take care, and let me know what you think in the comments. Always open to a discussion. Always want to have some back and forth with like minds. So take care.